That's a wide body. That's a wide body. That's a wide body. That's a wide body.
Yo, Panther Nation, what's good? Welcome back to Carolina's Armchair GM. I am your host, CJ. Hey, and y'all do me one quick favor. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Okay, I'm experimenting over here. All right, so I'm going live on the YouTube regular platform. I'm going live on the vertical platform, and I should be live on X right now as well. So y'all do me a big favor. Okay, bet. All the one I love. We hear you. Thank you, babe. I appreciate it. All right, okay. Cool. Let me see. In the car, you crazy, dog. You crazy. Hey, but what's going on with you, everybody? It's funny because Mo Legion, he sent me a message yesterday and he was like, "Hey man, just checking on you." He said, I ain't seen you go live since since the playoff game. He was like, "Hope the family, everything is doing good." I sent him a message back. I said, "Nah, I'm good. The whole family is great." I said, "I'm just lazy." I've been on a lazy trip here for probably the past month, and I'm trying to work on that as one of my, so-called New Year's resolutions and whatnot. But yeah, man. But like now I know what I'm going to tell y'all. Y'all probably already heard from, 15 or 20 other people. But this is my first time going live since the playoff game, so you're going to hear it again. All right. So just to go ahead and let you know, if you don't want to hear it, then this might be it might be a good time to leave. I hope you don't. Okay. Now, first of all, thank you to everybody that has joined. Okay. And if you're watching in the chat and you haven't already, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Okay. I appreciate all the love on support. Still on my way to my goal of 2,000 subscribers. All right. And I appreciate all love and support. And whatever platform you're watching on, make sure you like and give a follow as well. All right. And I appreciate all of that. Okay. So let's go ahead and get to the comments here. And let me see. B Amos said, "What up? What up, B Amos? J Issue, what's going on?" Let me see. Culturally inappropriate. CJ got new chat rules now. What the hell have y'all been doing in here? LOL. Oh wait, I'm in the wrong chat. It's Nakari. Of course. Of course it's you, Nakari. Of course. But what's going on, y'all? Okay. Thank you, dear. She says we hear you. B Amos says you good. Said, well, I guess this won't change. LOL, this account not even supposed to be public yet. Oh, well, I'm sorry, dog. You coming in loud and clear. He said, but yes, we can hear you. Okay, cool. Said, LOL, I'm like, man, let me tell you, it ain't at times for me. I get on the lazy streak. Good God Almighty, Janelle will tell you, I get on the lazy streak. It's hard for me to get up out of. I have to work my way up out of it in stages. To be honest, CJ, you ain't shaves. I don't know. Brother, are you good? Yes, I'm good. I just hadn't been to the barber. I ain't gonna lie. I've had an old patchy beard all my life, as y'all can see, and I'm trying to get it to come in fuller and whatnot. And if my boy Daniel is watching this, I know he's laughing at me right now because he's picked at me since college about my beard. But yeah, no, everything is good. I'm just trying to grow it out. The C stand for caveman. Oh, that's his rebellion beard. He knows I don't, man. Okay. All right. Poppin', what's going on, man? How you doing? Solar Biscuit, please, someone hire Evero and save my defense. Man, we gonna get into that in a minute. Rock Jones, what's good with you, man? Keep pounding. Yes, sir. Say you got I know. I know, and that's one thing that I have not done. So yeah, I know, I know. Let me see. Tom Brady save our lives, please. Man, who you telling, dog? Who you telling? I want Tom Brady to pick up Evero and take him off of our hands so bad right now. You know, but and I get into this into this in a minute. You know, I got to be honest and give, you know, my unbiased opinion on Ejiro Evero. Okay. So I have to do that. All right. What's up, Mark? Said this the thing is I ever seen your beard. It's the missus okay with that. Apparently not. She's in the chat and she says she doesn't like it, and she said I do it because I know she don't like it. So you know, apparently not. But yeah, but like I said, I'm working with it. I'm working with it. They cannot wait too long to take coaches. Yeah, I know. I know. But he did get a second interview, if I'm not mistaken, with the Raiders. So we'll see. Okay, we'll see. Antonio, what's going on, man? How you doing? What's good with you? All right. Now, like I said, I've been experimenting with stuff here. So let me go ahead and get to my next little thing here. You know, make sure all this pops up and goes the way it's supposed to. Okay, bet. All right, I'll take that. And like Antonio says here, please, if you haven't already, like, subscribe, comment, and share the stream, please. All right. Thank you, Antonio. I appreciate that. Nakari says, what I think is interesting is if someone offered him a DC role, I don't think the Panthers immediately block it. You know what? I'm gonna disagree with you. I'm gonna disagree with you, Nakari. I think they will. I think they absolutely will, because either Dan and Dave were putting on just this major front, you know, for Evero. We love him, you know, all this, all that, and the other. You know, we'll see. We'll see. But I think I don't think he's getting offers for any defensive coordinator positions. Okay, I don't know. They talk like he is so highly regarded, you know, around the NFL. Well, if that's the case, then one of these teams need to take him for, you know, a head coaching spot. Okay, but we shall see. We shall see. All right, let me see. One of them don't fuck with him like that. I don't know if it's Dan or Dave, but I know lies when I see them. I got you. I got you. I got you. Tepper definitely Matumbo blocking it. Raiders getting an offensive minded coach. You're not about to draft Mendoza with Tom Brady with this input and have Evero as a head coach. God dang it, Eternal. Bro, let me tell you, I was thinking the exact same thing. The exact same thing. But here we are. Here we are. All right. So we'll see. We'll see. Okay. So I know I always tell y'all, hey, I ain't gonna be with you long, and I end up being on here, but I'm not gonna be with you long tonight. All right. A quick recap of last season, okay? And as you can see, we were 8-9, first in the NFC South champions. Okay. Um, by default, I guess you could say, you know, kind of backed our way in. We didn't really win it the way I wanted the team to win it, the way a lot of Panther Nation wanted the team to win it. You know, we had to rely on the Atlanta Falcons to beat the Saints last game of the season for us to literally back our way into the playoffs. But however, we made it there. Okay. If you could take one thing out of it, we did just enough to get to the point where we were in that position to be able, you know, to depend on the Falcons beating the Saints to get in. Okay. And to be honest with you, that's a lot better than what we have seen over the last, 7 or 8 years from this franchise. It's just been, you know, we get to the end of the season and that's a wrap. We, you know, by the 1st of December or so, we're already doing mock drafts. We're already getting prepared, you know, seeing who's out there, trades, you know, who we want for head coaches, all this good stuff. All right. You know, we're usually doing that in the November, start of December. All right. But this year, you know, the Panthers had a playoff game. Okay. And as someone who was there live and in person, if you weren't there, let me tell you, y'all were missing out. Okay, missing out. Even though we lost, all right, that is an experience I will never forget. The stadium was literally shaking. Okay, especially after every time that we scored, and then hey, look, my knees got to feeling good, so my fat ass started jumping. I'm sure I caused about half of an earthquake. When I started jumping around. But you know what I mean. I ain't had no ligaments popping, nothing. So I'm good. But it was a great experience. They had the light shows. They had the fireworks at halftime. Even though I missed it because I had to go to the bathroom. But that's usually my routine at the games. I do not get up unless it's halftime and I got to go pee. Well, me and the missus usually have a routine. If she gets hungry, she'll grab something for the both of us, and I'm usually there sitting, waiting when the second half starts because I'm trying to sit there and make sure I see every snap, every play. And I will say, my first year going to every game except for the Rams game. We went to every other game. It's a vastly different experience, as pretty much know, than watching it at home. But I will say this: I am better able to keep track of a lot of things watching it at home. You got the replay; they're showing 4 or 5 angles. Let me tell you, the Panthers might show one angle of a replay. They might show one angle, and especially if it's a play against the Panthers, or like the Panthers create a turnover, Rice throw a pick, we fumble. Yeah, it's a wrap. The Panthers are not showing that on the big screen. You know what I mean? But here at the house, you get to sit there and you get to see all these different angles. I mean, hell, I can pause the damn thing, get up and go do what I gotta do, come back, But I will say this. There was nothing like the experience of being there this whole season, for the wins, also for the losses, and my first ever playoff game for any team that I like. That's the first playoff game I've been to ever in my life. So it was definitely a great experience. Okay. But now with the schedule here, again, we're 8-9, and we started the season off with 2 losses, and we ended the season with 2 losses. Okay, we had a 3-game winning streak there in the middle, and then after the Jets game, it was loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, all the way up until the first Tampa Bay game. Okay, so when I tell you it was a roller coaster ride, and I know all of y'all who are Panther fans will agree it was a roller coaster ride. I mean, literally ups and downs, week to week to week. Okay. Um, Now, mind you, I hear a lot of people, in a well, not outraged, but kind of outraged, but kind of whining and bitching a little bit. Oh God, we got first place in the division. Now we got a first place schedule next year. Okay. So now mind you, we were already playing the AFC North and the NFC North, regardless. Okay. Everybody in the division has to play those two teams, those two divisions. But where it turns up for us is we have to play the division winners of the AFC East, I'm sorry, the NFC East, the NFC West, and we'll play the NFC North, which is Chicago, but we also play the Broncos, who were the winner of the AFC West. So we do play 3 or 4 division winners next year. And it's crazy because I think we have the tenth hardest schedule in the league next year. Now, mind you, like the Saints. The Saints have the second easiest. And the difference is instead of playing those division winners, they're playing the last place team in those divisions. It's crazy how those 4 games can be the difference between 10th and 31st. So wow. Yeah. All right. Let me get back to some let me see comments here. Let me see. Unless Evero can promise he brings a McVay guy as OC. Man, let me tell you. I but the thing is, if Evero gets a head coaching job, is he going to get I don't know. I don't know. I see how stubborn he is on defense, but he is calling the defense, you know. But he's gonna have to though. He's not like Canales, he's not an offensive guy, he's not gonna be calling plays or whatnot. But yeah, probably so. Probably so. Probably so. But my thing is you looking at the last drive of the playoff game for the Rams against our defense, you know, I don't know. Do you really want to hire him as a head coach? Because he's going to come in, be the head coach slash defensive coordinator. All right. And like I said, let me try and get my bias out of this and try to and keep it, keep it even keel. But we'll see. All right. Let me see. We got time tonight because you'll be gone for 2 weeks. So take your time. No, I ain't gonna be gone for another 2 weeks, man. I promise you, I got some I kind of got a little bit of a schedule, and I'm gonna try and put out more, video content. Still gonna go live, but see, I'm not live on StreamYard right now. I'm live on my computer, on OBS. It's a lot more, functionality, a lot more creativity I can do with this versus StreamYard. StreamYard is great, for inviting guests. Because it's like everybody uses StreamYard. It automatically pulls in your avatar, whether you have one, that you put in yourself or just the regular avatar, whatever your YouTube, no, I'm sorry, your Google avatar is. It'll pull that in. You know what I mean? But for me, and my creativity, likes to, it has its peaks and valleys, but then I get frustrated with StreamYard sometimes. I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't put this here. I can't put this there. That's why I'm trying out some new stuff tonight. QJ, I was at the Rams playoff game too. It was an incredible experience. I'm a proud Panthers fan. Let me tell you, I wasn't even that mad when we lost the game. I mean, I was mad, but I was more pissed off the next day when we found out that the Panthers had extended Evero at the start of the season. I don't know how they kept that hush hush. It must have been a meeting with Dan, Dave, and Evero. And they were like, don't tell your wives, don't tell your kids, don't tell nobody. We'll see how this goes, and we'll let everybody know at the end of the season. It must have been a blood pact or something. Because I'm just like, how in God's name do you sign the guy who had the worst defense in arguably league history last year to an extension? So we'll see. So next year you can watch from home, and I'll keep you updated on the stadium shenanigans. Now that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. SC Pace, what's up? What up, CJ? I know we don't have a game next Sunday, but Evero should still be on the enemy spot. I got you. I got you. Damn, that's good. You know what? I got a slide, but I should have put enemy spotlight on it. The refs called the game fairly too. Yes, yeah, I will say this. They called it fairly fair. I will say Nick Scott, I don't think he was I don't think that flag for the unnecessary roughness penalty was warranted on Nick Scott. Then everybody tried to flip it back, when who was it for us got hit out of bounds? Was it Coker? But mind you, that was clear, helmet to helmet. But for the most part, yes, that I was worried about that. I really was. I was like, oh God, we got Cleet Blakeman, whatever his name is. I was like, this is not going to go good. They already don't want us to win, but I got you. Let me see. Cam responds to intending the playoff game. Being welcomed back left so many question marks. It felt like he was saying, don't count on his attendance every playoff game. Well, I mean, I was talking to Janelle about this the other day. How a lot of people believe in curses, generational curses, family curses, all that stuff. I'm not gonna lie. We have done quite a few players wrong, as far as Panther Nation favorites, over the years. If you ever watch The Color Purple and you see Sealy, until you do right by me, everything, gonna fail, blah, blah, blah. Sometimes I feel that way about Cam, man. Cam, Christian McCaffrey, hell, Brian Burns, you know what I mean? Even though Brian Burns wanted, we probably should have paid when they had paid Brian Burns. You know what I mean? Then the thing is, you get offered 2 first-round picks for him and don't take it. All right. Then Christian McCaffrey, you trade him away for a bag of peanuts, in my opinion. Cam, you cut Cam after everybody, Matt Rule comes in here like, oh yeah, I'm looking forward to working with Cam, blah, 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 blah. Then after free agency period starts and everybody gets going, gets all these signings out the way, then you cut Cam. You know what I mean? So I feel like this organization has done a lot of our players, a lot of our fan favorites, not the best, and I don't know if we catching hell for it right now, but it could be. It could be. Call me crazy. Yeah, he's just, hey. Keys to victory. Let's get Evero to Vegas. The Raiders are moving a tad slow. Please take him, man. Yes. I'm a 26-year-old. I'm 26 years old. When I was a kid, Cam used to give chills when he scored rushing TDs. When B Young 9 scored that rushing TD, I got chills for the first time since Cam left Carolina. Yeah, man. Let me tell you. He got out the pocket. He scrambled. He didn't do that classic. Cam where he really put his foot in the ground. Jab step, go back the other way. But Bryce, he did enough for himself, and got in the end zone. So I was damn proud of that. Damn proud. But I feel you though, man. I feel you. What does Evero really have under his coaching tree to bring as OC? I can't really see him as a head coach. Facts. Saying he said, this is why I've been sitting on the secret channel for 4 months. I was at the game too. Reminded me of the 2015 divisional game. Man, we said I'd love to have been there too. 32-15. Even went from rank 20 to gotcha. Defense 20 to 8 interceptions. Yep, you're right. At least they can keep a secret, bro. Let me tell you, boy. Said J-No didn't even attend. Yeah. I wonder where Josh Norman was at. But yeah. Okay, but yeah, up and down season, and as you can see by the schedule here, I do think that we left at least 3 games on the table. Okay, I do think we should have been 11 and 11 and 6. Okay, I do think we should have been 11 and 6. Excuse me, and I said this before, the Cardinals game, we should have beat the Cardinals. Okay, if we hadn't got ourselves in that damn hole earlier, that would have been a win. The first Saints game still, I don't think they did anything offensively that was just that great. You know what I mean? But our offense could not do a damn thing. Oh, sorry, my phone going off here. They could not do a damn thing. I mean, it was like they couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, with the front end of a tractor. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like they couldn't do anything. And then the next Saints game where they just went out there. Mind you, we get up 17-7 in the fourth quarter. Okay, in the fourth quarter, and we still lose that game. All right. Now that game, the first game I'm putting on the offense. That game I'm putting on the defense because there's no way you up 17-7 and you give up that lead in the fourth quarter. All right. And I'll throw in 2 wild cards for you. Okay. The San Francisco game, 3 interceptions in the first half. Offense couldn't do a damn thing with it. Okay. The Seattle game. All right. The Seattle game. I dare to say to all of y'all that if J.C. Horn hadn't got the face mask call against Jackson, Oscar nominee, and Jigba Smith, you know what I mean? That could have potentially been a different game. Okay. Like I said, those are 2 wild cards. Those are 2 really good teams. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, we definitely would have won those games. Had certain things not happen. I'm not going to count that as a definite. But we should have beat Arizona. We should have beat the Saints at least once. Okay, at least once. We should at least been at least 10-7. All right, at least 10-7. You could throw another one in, make it 11-6. All right, but yeah, like I said, a up and down roller coaster season. So yeah. Let me see. Josh is the Dark Knight. He was protecting God. Cardinals game, 49ers game, and both Saints game. I got you. Shoot, look, I throw in another wild card in there. Hell, the damn Jacksonville game. That's the thing that's got to change for this offense heading into next season. They have got to figure out a way to get out of their own way at the beginning of these games and get moving. They've got to figure that out. Got to figure that out. We always backing ourselves in a hole early in these games and having to dig our way out of, and sometimes it worked. Okay. Look at the Dolphins game, look at the Cowboys game. And then a lot of times it didn't work. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, man, it's a lot of what ifs for this season, and if Carolina can take care of some of these what ifs, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Okay, I think there are more what ifs on offense than defense this year. All right, but we'll see. So we got 2/3 if Evero gets a head coaching job. And let me tell you, God, that was a big debate on X about oh no, it wasn't on X. It was over on on Prime. I was on PPP channel. Was it last week? Week before last, maybe. And they were having a big debate about, the third round picks or whatever. And I think we do get 2 third-round picks, but they're compensatory picks or whatnot. But yeah, let me tell you, bro, hey, I don't wish any harm on anybody. You know what I mean? If Evero leaves, I wish him all the best. I don't want him to go anywhere and just be terrible. But yeah, I'll take them. We should have beat the 49ers. Evero defense got us 3 picks and a fumble. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. Our defense even held the Seahawks to 3 points until late in the third quarter. Yeah. Yep. Hot take. We would have won the Bills game if Bryce played instead of Andy. Uh, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know because the defense in that game decided that they were just going to you know take a break. You know what I mean? They just decided they were just like, screw it. We're good. We better pay Bryce Young 9 soon because the price will go up if he wins double-digit games. We're gonna get into that in a little bit here in a minute too. We're gonna briefly kind of skim over that little topic. Raiders fans on Twitter are getting scared because every interview has been going on longer than they expected. Ooh, I bet they are. I'll appreciate the picks if Evero leaves, but we've been wanting his ass gone for a very long time. Facts, facts. Kenny, what's going on with you, big dog? How you doing, bro? What's going on? If y'all don't know, that is our fantasy football league winner for 2025, Mr. BBL Giver. So y'all give a shout out to Kenny. All right, appreciate you coming through, man. I hope Evero thrive and hit the playoffs his first year. Yeah, okay, yeah, more power to him. More power to him. Max Crosby in black and processed blue would make me do the chain split on Mint Street. But that's the thing though. That's the thing. What are we gonna have to give up to get Max Crosby in here is the question. All right. They not trading Crosby if Evero get man, yeah. Boy, you can tell you hire Evero, then trade away your best defensive player. Yeah, you got a point, Turner. Damn sure got a point there. Okay. All right, bet. Well, that was our schedule. Okay. So let me briefly talk about the playoff game. A lot of good things. A few things I didn't like. Um, oh, hold on. It said James Brown split. Got you. A few things I didn't like. That 4th and 1 on the first drive, second drive. My thing is, Evero got too cute with it. Okay, got too cute with it. Rolling out, passing on 4th down. My thing is hand the ball off. You got extra offensive linemen, you got tight ends. Man, load it. Put in 2 or 3 offensive linemen. Let them check in as eligible. Let them line up a tight end, and you force the ball and get that first down. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I don't know. I think he gets too cute with the play calling, but that was something that, could have led to points. You know what I mean? Just think about what if we would have got a field goal out of that drive. All right. So, a lot of stuff left, a lot of points left on the board there, even if it was just 3. Okay. And I'll kind of skip to the end of the game because we got the block punt when Justin Simmons blocked the punt and we got the touchdown. I'm not gonna lie, I was sitting and I was like, crap. Did we score a little bit too early? We left them a lot of time on the clock. Okay. Now you get down to the Rams last drive. And what pissed me off the most is the defensive scheme. Okay. Evero went back to playing his, as I like to call it, parking lot defense. Okay. His cornerbacks and safeties were across the street at the doghouse, drinking a beer, and had to run back across Mint Street, cross Moorhead, go in the stadium, to try and make a play. And it's like they were playing the outside. They were playing the line, not lines. They were playing the sidelines. Okay, but they left the field wide open. And if I'm not mistaken, and if anybody knows better, let me know. But when I looked at the all 22, the Rams really ran the same play 4 times, 4 or 5 times. They would send somebody deep. Okay, they would send somebody on maybe like a 7 to 8 yard in route. The tight end would go on like a wheel route, and they dinked and dunked the ball down the field. The middle of the field was open every single play. Excuse me, until you got down to the last one where, I got to give Matt Stafford his credit. Now, of course, they hyping up Stafford. Oh, he's the best thing since bottled ketchup and this, that, and the third, which I'm not saying he bad, but he didn't do anything overly impressive on that last drive. Like I keep telling everybody, I think I could have trotted my fat ass out there and ran 5 yards, turned around, got the ball, dropped down, and be like, take me out, coach. I don't want to get hit no more. You know what I mean? The way that the defense was playing and everything was open in the middle of the field. Everything was open, but except for that last play. That was a hell of a throw by Stafford, and that was a hell of a catch by what's my man name? Can't remember the tight end's name, but the real tall tight end, not Parkinson, Ferguson, or whichever one it is. But like I said, but Stafford didn't really do anything like mind-boggling, that last drive. But that last throw of his was well placed, well timed, and it was just a good catch and the ability for the tight end to, really tightrope the sideline for a few yards and get into the end zone. But for me, the thing that is most frustrating is that I feel like all of that could have been, contained. I want to say prevented, but we was in the prevent defense that couldn't even prevent, and and hold on. And Jay said, if you lack it pass rush, why the fuck are your guys in zone? QBs that notice that will eat that up easily. Yes. And it's crazy because on that last play where Stafford threw the touchdown, it looked like Ashawn Robinson and Derek Brown were not even trying to get to him. Okay. I gotta go back and look at this and make another video on it. But it really looks like they were just kind of, there. They had the hands on the defensive lineman, almost like they were worried about Matt Stafford taking off and running. And I'm just like, okay, like this is not Lamar we're dealing with. This isn't Dak or Jaden Daniels, or Caleb or none of those. It's Matt Stafford. But hey, but we'll see. All right, so then you get to our last drive. All right. Well, first of all, now mind you, okay, I was a little bit pissed at Canales too, because I'm just like, dude, you got 3 timeouts. Okay. If I was the head coach after those first 2 plays from the Rams, I think I would have called a timeout. I would have walked down the sideline to Evero, and I've been like, hey, yo, E, you good? I might have pulled a Dan Campbell on him. Like, you good? You need me to take over the play call for this last drive? Because the middle of the field is about as wide as the Mississippi right now, and they paddling downstream. Okay. So I mean, just from my perspective, I'm the head coach, like call a timeout and make sure that your defense and your defensive coordinator, are on the same page. Okay. And then you see, what Princely said after the game. They was asking him about the scheme and the players, and he was like, I don't think it's the players. And I'm just like, ooh, why did he say that? I know he gonna catch hell for that one, but that just may well be the truth. But we'll see. All right. But now get to our last drive, 38 seconds. You got 3 timeouts, and Bryce Young had 4 straight incompletions. Okay. And I think it was a whole lot to unpack on that last drive as well. All right. Now, again, our offensive line, minus Icky, had a couple plays where they let a good bit of pressure, excuse me, a good bit of pressure come through, get to Bryce, hurry him up. I think on the second down play, again, one thing that Bryce has to he has to work on this offseason is going through his reads and not staring down one side of the field. Okay. And he had a play where he had somebody come open over the middle of the field, but he was locked in on the left side of the field where Ted McMillan was at. All right. The other two plays, he got pressure, had to get rid of the ball. Now on the last play, now at the game, I couldn't really tell from where I was sitting. I thought that Bryce threw the ball, into the ground. Didn't realize till we got to the hotel room, that Jimmy Horn dropped the pass. You know what I mean? And mind you, I know it wasn't the perfect ball, but I was just like, dude, like you gotta come up with that one. Like it's fourth in the season. You got to make that play. And I know a lot of I know Ocho and Shannon Sharp, was saying the same thing. Like, you go down the slide and try to make that catch with your body. Noah was a little bit behind them, but they say you got to come down and make that catch. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was not a great last because when we got the ball back and we had 38 seconds in my mind, I'm sitting here thinking about the last season. I'm like, okay, we left the Chiefs 30 seconds. They drove straight down the field, got a field goal. We left the Buccaneers 30 seconds in the home game. They drove straight down the field, got a field goal. I'm sitting here thinking about all these times where we have let all these teams with the Saints game, the end of the Saints game in New Orleans. I forgot how much time was left. I don't even think it was 30 seconds. They ain't have no timeouts. Drove straight down the field, got a field goal, won the game. I'm sitting here thinking about all these times, this has happened to us. I'm like, yes, now this is retribution. Now let's go out there and do it to somebody else. And, yeah, didn't happen. It didn't happen. So that pissed me off, the absolute most. And the way we had been playing down the stretch in that game, like I said, it was disappointing, highly disappointing. All right, let me scroll back up and go through some of these comments here. Let me see. Jay said the Raiders going to want more than we gave up for Price. Well, I don't know, Jay, because my thing is we gave up 2 first-rounders and a second to jump up to get Bryce. Yeah. Well, you might be right. If they want that, I highly doubt Carolina's going to give them that, but we'll see. He going to go save his illegitimate son, DJ Johnson. You stupid. I hate Evero too, CJ, but that was Dave that got too cute. Facts. Let me see. Dream 58, what's going on? We have a better chance of getting Devin Lloyd, which will still be a big upgrade to our linebacker core. I got you. Excuse me. I need Jacob Rodriguez or Sonny Styles in Carolina ASAP. And the crazy thing is, now I expect this to change at the combine, okay? But you got Sonny Styles. He's high on everybody's draft boards. Probably like a top 15 pick, most of them. He usually gets picked 2 or 3 spots behind, ahead of the Panthers pick in a lot of the mock drafts I've seen. But you got Jacob Rodriguez from Texas Tech. I keep seeing him getting drafted in like the 2nd and 3rd round. I mean, you got the Butkus Award winner here. Like, am I missing something? But we'll see. And we'll get to that in a minute here. But I know Dan Morgan, he did say that he wanted to get some help at especially edge rusher, but he wanted to get a linebacker in here, that's got good off-ball linebacker, good instincts, and can diagnose these plays and get downhill and make stuff happen. So we'll see. I'm all in on Styles. I need to look into Rodriguez more. Gotcha. Jimmy Horn Jr. is better than Leggett in my personal opinion. Hey, let me tell you, I agree with that, but I also think that, now mind you, I hear a lot of things say about XL, trade him, get rid of him, he's gone or whatever. Okay. My thing is this. All right. Put that man back there and do punt and kick return. Okay. Take advantage of his speed. Give him some go routes down the field. I don't know, maybe kind of put him in like a Debo-esque role. Something like that. You know what I mean? Um, I mean, if the Panthers move on from him, okay. You know what I mean? But is he our number 2 wide receiver? No. Okay. So therefore, if they're going to keep him, they're going to have to find some ways to maximize, his talents and get him see better acclimated to make plays. But we'll see. But I do agree with you on that one. I did want to see a lot more of Jimmy Horn this season as well. Let me see. Said Colt, not ever cost us too many games playing that Bimba don't break as that he lives by. You don't put your physical QBs in zone. They're physical for a reason. Let them be man to man. And my thing is this: I agree with that. Okay, but I don't have that big of an issue, with the zone per se in certain situations. But I'm like, dude, it's 3rd down and 2. Why are your corners playing 10, 12 yards off the line of scrimmage? We were, if I'm not mistaken, we were 30th in 3rd down conversions on defense this year. 3rd downs killed us all season long. And I guarantee you 99% of it was because they were playing that parking lot defense. Yep. Said facts. The J issue, I was correcting CJ because he said Evero got too cute on the 4th and 1. Oh, my bad. My bad. Yeah, I meant Dave. I'm sorry. Dave. My bad, y'all. Said if Evero has 0 haters, I have died. If you lack it, Pat. Oh, gotcha. I already had this one up here. Okay. You can't play man one-on-one if you have no pass rush. Haven't you seen our guys get torched when left on the island? We need better talent. Now, I agree with you on that one. Okay, if any of y'all watched the national title game last night, certain situations where end of the game, a man from Indiana got the pick. He back there playing trail coverage because he knew he had his safety help over the top, underthrown ball. If he hadn't have got to hold that ball, the safety would at least knock it down, whatever. And that's why I say sometimes I don't think Evero takes advantage of the talent that he already has. We've seen with Mike Jackson. Now, mind you, I'm not going to sit here and say you put Mike Jackson on Jalen Waddle, or any of these faster wide receivers and have him out there playing man coverage with them. No. You know what I mean? But Mike Jack has proved, especially later on in the season, he can play not, press man coverage, but he can play close to the line of scrimmage and hold up against, good wide receivers. We've seen him make plays on Puka Nakua twice. No, Devontae Adams in the first game, Puka Nakua in this game, Drake London earlier in the season, with the pick six that should have been, you know. You got JC Horn on the other side. Now, mind you, with him, I ain't gonna lie. If we paying JC that much money, we JC needs to travel more. He needs to play close to the line of scrimmage, in my opinion, more often. But you see a lot of times with both of them, are way back off the line of scrimmage. And at the snap, they're both, bailing out. And then you get a wide receiver that's doing a 5-yard in route or a comeback, or whatever. And by the time the ball is in the air, so by the time the defenders figure out, the pass has been thrown, now they got to get out of that back pedal. Now they got to run and try to catch up to a guy that's already got the ball, already got the first down. And like I said, that's what happened 99% of the time on third down. And like I said, I know that Evero was lacking in the talent department in some key positions, this season, but still, I don't think that he utilized what he had to the best of his and their capabilities in certain situations. You know what I mean? You're not going to be perfect. You're not going to get it right all the time. But my thing, if I take a sledgehammer and keep, tapping up against my head, if eventually, I'm gonna bleed. I'm gonna start noticing the blood. You know what I mean? It's like Evero's like, oh, I'm bleeding. Okay, cool. And he keeps doing it. So, but yeah. Let me see. So if your guys are on sync, I promise you, you can play man without keep cornerbacks. Got you. With our cornerbacks. Got you. I'd rather we play man and get beat over the top and have time for Bryce to do something rather than playing zone and let them walk down the field and waste all the time. Okay. Not only take time off the clock, but helping them march down the field will allow them to put 3, if not 6, on the board. Nader, what's going on? I would pick another wide receiver at 19 and be set for several years. I got you. I got you. Dig it. What's going on, man? How you doing? The only thing a prevent defense prevents is a win. It said it's mostly because of his age. If we only had Texans, man, let me tell you. Okay. Um, and we, you know what? We're getting to that here in a second. Get that here in a second. But let me go ahead and wrap this up. Great game. Okay. Like I said, a lot left on the table defensively, offensively as well. But, hopefully, and I said this earlier in the season, I would rather them get to the playoffs than not, have that experience. Hopefully, this will inspire these guys to go out there and get better. I hope this was enough of an experience. I hope that, us fans that were in the crowd, I hope we shook that place enough. I hope we were loud enough to make this team remember this and be like, you know what? I want to get back to this again. I don't want to come out here another season and not be able to experience what we experienced at the bank on that Saturday night. So hopefully that's what comes out of this playoff loss that we had. So we'll see. Okay, now let me move on. Okay, one thing I want to say, Panther Nation, stop this, please. Okay, leave CJ Stroud and the Texans fans alone. This is all I've been seeing on Twitter. Okay, oh, we sure did pick right. Bryce Young is better than CJ. Blah blah blah. Hey man, let me tell y'all. Okay, leave that man alone. Leave him alone. Okay, let me say this. All right. I'm pulling for Bryce. I hope he turns out to be our franchise quarterback. But right now, me personally, I'm not taking no shots at CJ Stroud and the Texans. CJ got 3 winning seasons. He has 3 playoff wins. Now, mind you, he shit the bed after all 3 of them playoff wins, but he got 3 playoff wins. Okay. So my thing is, Panther Nation, please stop this. Please stop. Leave Mr. Stroud and the Texans alone. Okay, we get us some playoff wins and get down the road and Bryce starts looking better. Talk all the shit you want to, but right now, leave, leave that man alone. That's all I got to say about that. In my Forrest Gump voice. Oh goodness, yo, let me catch up on some of these comments. Let me see here. Sorry, I said person. Nobody can see my last name. Said, cuz don't know where out of bounds is, so stop sending him on routes. They tried that. He's not Debo. I get you. Debo-esque. Debo-esque. Said, what are we going to do with left tackle? That's a good question. That is a good question. Icky is more than likely going to be out for the season if the Panthers take the what's the word I'm looking for? The cautious approach with this. Okay. He has a torn patella tendon, 6 to 12 month recovery time. I'm not gonna lie, in 2018, I partially tore mine. And it was definitely a process. I was down for about probably about 3 or 4 months, and I can just imagine that's not with me, being an athlete, trying to get back to a certain strength level. That was just me and being able to get in the car and make it to work. You know what I mean? Because my job at that time, I didn't do any strenuous lifting or moving or a lot of walking and stuff like that. So I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do at left tackle. But I pray to God it's not Yash Nyman. Okay. And I say that, and let me give him a little bit of credit because he did a lot better this year than he did last year. Okay. Started a couple games, we won a couple games when, if I'm not mistaken, when Icky was out, at least one. Okay. But do I want Yash Nyman to be our long-term answer for next season? No. Okay. So I don't know if they address that in free agency or they address that during the draft, but we'll see. But it's kind of crazy because we have so many holes. It's just like, okay, if there's a premier left tackle there at number 19, do you go after that? You know what I mean? You can justify your franchise left tackle who's going to be playing. You're going to be paying his 5th-year option for him to sit on the bench and recover from injury. He's out. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you got a defense that doesn't have well, let me not say that. I think, to be honest with you, if we can get a premier edge rusher in free agency, I think Nick Scorton. Let me tell you, I think Nick Scorton kind of needs a partner, and I think Derek Brown needs a partner as well. I think you got a partner for Derek Brown and Bobby Brown, but Evero, for the most part, Bobby Brown was on the bench, and when he got in the game, he made plays, and then they proceeded to put him back on the bench. So I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see. Let's see. I want trade back like the Rams did last year with the Falcons, so we can have 2 firsts in a deep draft class next year. I mean, I wouldn't mind that. It depends on who's still on the board or who's off the board. Is the Duke QB coming out for the draft? If I'm not mistaken, the Duke quarterback said he was going back to Duke. Okay. And then all of a sudden said, nope, I'm entering the transfer portal. So I don't know. He, never know. He might end up down there in Miami. So we'll see. Let me see. Saints corner were playing 10 yards off, but Chase Young and that defense still sacked Bryce. True. So Bryce outplayed CJ. I mean, in the playoff game, yeah, if yeah, I'll say that, but I'm just talking about, what is it? The entirety of it. My thing is leave Bryce and CJ alone. But yeah, I got you. We shut out great receivers to the fourth quarter. We shut out great receivers to the fourth quarter, so it's possible to play man. I got you. With the lack of talent. Talent outplayed the scheme all season. We had the talent to do what we need to do. The scheme limited the talent instead of expanding it. Okay. Got you. All right. Please stop comparing them. 1 week CJ better, next week Bryce better. There's other QBs to compare. Yeah. I'm just I don't know. I'm just like leave them alone, man. Like leave them alone. Like us as a fan base right now, we just need to appreciate the fact that we got into the playoffs, and just keep it a buck and leave it alone. Don't let me say it's so many people on X going back and forth with this. I'm just like, yo, like, nah, like don't do that. Sign Brady ASAP. Let me tell you, I don't mind signing Brady Christensen back, but you got to throw the label. You got to put the label on him as being injury prone now. Okay, so you got to think about that as well. But he's probably had the same amount of injuries as Austin Corbett. So if Austin Corbett can come back, maybe Brady can come back as well. Brady Christensen can also play center, guard, and left or right tackle. He can play left or right guard, center, and left and right tackle as well. So we'll see. Icky. You see, Bobby Digital, what's up? He said, okay, maybe Icky Dunn. Okay, gotcha. Dunn being a Panther. No way Morgan going to resign him after fully blowing out his knee after 2027 season unless he come real cheap. That's something to think about too. Yeah. They're going to re-sign Icky. There's no question he won't. Gotcha. Let me see. What's up, Nicholas? We need to keep O-line healthy. We should also pick up the following during, offseason. AJ Brown, Max Crosby, Goddard, Devontae Adams, and trade for Bijan Robinson. Come on, man. Oh my God. Let me tell you, Dan Morgan will be the greatest of all times. That's what it is, all times, if he could pull that off. To know they're not after next season. If Icky don't come cheap, he not coming back. It's probably over for Icky. I ain't gonna lie. That thought has crossed my mind too. It just might be. Left tackle. Let me see. Bakhtiari from Green Bay is still available. Gotcha. Need Zavala and Turk. Zavala can go. We paying Turk too much money. All right. Turk need to show up and show out next year. Okay. Let me tell you, that dude got a 3-year, $54 million contract. Let me say he needs to get back in the game next year. Okay. He definitely needs to get back in the game. We paying him too much to go out there. And the crazy thing was, his whole season was marred by injury. He would get in for a game and then he'd be out for 2 or 3. He'd get in for a game, he'd be out for 2 or 3. So it was wild. I need Kyle Pitts to be a Panther. Wouldn't mind. They obviously not giving him a big deal, and he's not going to fetch big money in the market. He'll be back for a middling deal. I got you. Hey, Panthers Prime Pie. He said, "Profit Cookie Monster." What's good? What is going on, Pastor Bowberry? Okay, let me tell you, everybody get in your cars right now. Go to your nearest Bojangles if you have one. Order you order you 20 pounds of Bowberry biscuits and 4 gallons of sweet tea. And go home and shout out PPP, because that's his order. That's his breakfast order, every other Thursday. All right. What's going on, Prime? That man Turk got one more season before they can cut him. He took the money and ran. Let me tell you. If I'm not mistaken, because I got the thing up right here. Let me see. Tershawn Wharton. Yeah. If the Panthers, if they cut him this year, this season, it's not good for him. Yep. But yeah, he definitely got to show improve. Definitely has to show improve. I think if they cut him next year, they might be able to save some towards the cap, but definitely not this season. Definitely not. Let me see. Turk ask Steve Urkel how you F up your hamstring in warm-ups. Damn, really? Oh wow. And just sitting down on the toilet. That is crazy. And I hate it for him. Because my thing is this. You saw what Turk Wharton did in Kansas City, and I didn't per se think he was going to come in here and just completely blow the roof off of everything. I thought he was going to be a nice complementary piece, to with Derek Brown and Ashawn, and Bobby Brown. He had a couple flashes this season. Okay, it's there, but he got to stay healthy. He got to stay healthy. And again, okay, you still, in my opinion, okay, you still cannot take Evero out of the equation and how he's being used as well. All right, so there's that. Like I said, that's just my opinion. We need to sign Cade Mays. Yeah, I think I think that I think that's, I ain't gonna say that's a done deal, but yeah, sign Cade Mays. But I will tell you this though, I would not be mad if they went out and got another backup center, or even drafted one later on. If you get that kid, it's like, oh, he was real high on our draft board and he slipped all the way down here. Let's go ahead and pick him up. If they go ahead and get some needs taken care of earlier in the draft, depending on free agency. All right. Said more hated Panther. Turk Wharton, Shy Tuttle by a long shot, dog. Shy Tuttle by a long shot. And I will say, I would defend him just a little bit because I do think he was playing way out of position in his time with the Panthers. But yeah, I'd have to say Shy Tuttle right now. If Turk Wharton has another season, like this year, he had this year, next year, this coming up season, you're gonna have to throw Turk Wharton at the top of that list. But right now, it's Shy Tuttle. Shy Tuttle by a landslide right now. All right. Let Corbett go. I think that's, yeah. I think they're gonna let Corbett go. 16 million. Yeah. Yep. Said I didn't even know we hated Turk. Well, I mean, I don't think I don't hate him. Okay. I don't, not yet. Not yet. All right. Now, mind you, if he has a healthy season next year and doesn't produce anything, then that might change. All right. But we'll see. Okay. So get back to this real quick. Bryce versus CJ, Panther Nation. Let that shit go, man. Just let it go. Leave CJ Stroud alone. Quit comparing them, and let's move forward. All right. So, okay. All right, chat. Now, I know we've talked about Evero, but, if y'all have any other thoughts, give me your thoughts on Evero. All right. Do you think that it's a possibility that the Raiders may pick him up as their head coach? Okay. Now, I do have to say this, and hold on, and let me pull this up real quick. Uh, okay. All right. So, trying to be objective here when I talk about Evero. All right. Okay. Now, let me excuse me here, y'all. Let me get last year up. I should have had this done already, but I did not. So excuse me. And this is going to take a second. See? All right. Okay. Now, all right. You can't just blow past the improvement of this defense. Okay. Now, total defense in 2024, the Panthers were ranked 32nd, 404 yards a game. Passing defense, we were ranked 23rd, 224 yards a game. Rushing defense, all the way down the bottom, 179.8, so 180 yards per game. Scoring defense, last, 31.4 points per game. Red zone defense, 29th, 65.8%. Okay? 65.8% for good old Evero and his defense last year. All right. Now, okay, go fast forward to this season. Okay. Overall, all right, we went from last to 16th. 16th, 327.2 yards per game. Okay. Pass defense, we were 15th, 203 yards per game. So we improved on that as well. Rushing defense. All right, here's a big one here. We went from 180 yards per game to 123.3. Okay, so we did improve in that department as well. Now, mind you, I felt earlier in the season that we were on track to be a top 10 rushing defense. Okay. And I don't know exactly. Now, mind you, I think Pat Jones getting hurt was a factor in that as well. Because one thing Pat Jones was good at, he was good at setting the edge. Okay. He was good at containing the run on his side of the ball. So that had a factor. Now mind you, we didn't give up, too many any crazy games this year, but we went from God, at one point, I think we were ranked like the number 5 run defense in the league. And yeah, we ever since oh goodness, what was it? Was it the Green Bay game? If I'm not mistaken. Um, I think after the Green Bay game, we started steadily dropping down, as far as run defense. Okay. But let me see. But rush defense did improve. Okay. Scoring defense. All right. We were 15th, 22.4 points per game. All right. So that was a major improvement as well. Red zone defense. All right. Red zone defense, we were 14th, 55.2. That was an improvement. All right. Third down defense. Okay. Now, mind you, you see the improvement on total defense, passing defense, rushing defense, red zone, scoring defense. Okay. Third down defense. Third down defense. Hold on. Let me go back to 2024. Third down defense, we were dead last. Okay. This year, third down defense, 31st. 47.1. Okay. Again, third down absolutely killed us this year. Okay. And I'll keep saying this until somebody can prove me wrong. But third downs, he was playing off too far off the ball. Linebackers, defensive backs, he left the middle of the field open. In routes, out routes, the cornerbacks weren't playing the sticks a lot in certain situations. And hell, and my thing is, look at the last drive of the Rams in the playoff game. Okay, mind you, they had done a pretty decent job the entire game. In the defense that they were in, they mixed it up a lot more in that game than Evero probably has this whole season. And they were playing a little bit more man. He went straight prevent, prevent, and it's like he was playing it's like he was playing 20+ yard passes, and the Rams were just going 8 yards, 10 yards, 9 yards, or whatever, and moving the ball down the field. You know what I mean? It just it's a cut that just went deep with me watching that last drive, especially being there in the stadium, watching that last drive, and I'm sitting there looking at my wife, looking at all the other Panther fans around me. Because mind you, there were some Ram fans in there, but let me tell you, you couldn't really see a whole lot of them. And we're sitting there looking like, and what is going on? Like, what is this defense that we see? And then you get all the analysts. Everybody was like, dude, what in the hell are the Panthers doing on defense on this last drive? That's why I said, shout out to Matt Stafford. He's a great quarterback, but he didn't do anything spectacular on that last drive until that last throw. That last throw was a hell of a throw. But I mean, the Panthers gave him the middle of the field, and he sliced and diced it all the way down the field. Okay. I also had a conversation with my good friend in our group chat, and he was talking about I was saying get rid of Evero, and he was like, well, no, that's going to mess up, the defense. And I'm like, no, not necessarily, because my thing is, if Dan Morgan likes the 3-4, if Dave Canales likes 3-4, okay, you can keep the 3-4 scheme, but just get somebody else in here to run it. You know what I mean? Bring in a Brian Flores, or hell, even Raheem Morris is probably in that same defensive tree as Evero is, so maybe we stay away from him. But and then hell, and I know Sean McDermott doesn't run a 3-4, he runs a 4-3, but hell, he just got let go of. Now, mind you, I'm gonna go ahead and say this now, we probably will not be getting Sean McDermott back in Carolina. Okay, he will probably get another head coaching job somewhere, but if he makes it through that whole cycle and does not get a head coaching job, and Evero does, and he's gone, I do hope that the Panthers do take a look at him. Maybe we can bring him back home to the Carolinas. And if y'all who didn't know, he was our defensive coordinator, in that 2015 season. All right, we went to the Super Bowl. And then I want to say right after that, he got the job in Buffalo. Been there ever since until yesterday. All right. Now, let me go back and scroll up and see what everybody's talking about Evero. All right. Hold on. Let Zavala be her backup, not Robert Hunt. You crazy? Said no. Ian Thomas was oh, I forgot about Ian Thomas. Oh, yo, you are right. He did make it through 3 head coaches, bruh. Oh my goodness, you talk about somebody getting the A on all the exams and not putting in any work, getting carried by everybody else. Oh my God, I would be surprised if he got a head coach job. I'm not gonna lie. I would be surprised too. And my thing is this, if Dan and Dave are really, that gung ho with Evero, if they believe in him, so much, I hope that they believe in him enough to be able to sit down and have a conversation with him about. And my thing is, Dan is a former linebacker for the Carolina Panthers, one of the best players in our history. Okay, and I know for a fact Dan Morgan looked at that defense sometimes and was like, no, I wouldn't have done that. Or why did we do this? Why are we in this coverage? Okay, why didn't we do this here? Why? That's just like you get it was one play where they blitzed Shaw Smith Wade and I think Trayvon Merrick. Okay. Mind you, the Rams had trips to the left. The blitz was coming from the left. And then you send Christian Roseboom on a dead sprint backwards to try and get out there and cover Devontae Adams. Things like that. You get what I'm saying? I don't get it. I don't understand. But like I said, I just hope that that Dan and Dave can sit down. Let me tell you, I hope Dan sits down and has a conversation with Evero. And I also hope he sits down and has a conversation with Dave because now, mind you, Dave is here, okay, but he ain't completely off the hook, as well because let me tell you, he had his play calling days where he balled out. Then he had his play calling days. We were like, bro, what in God's name are you doing? So I hope Dan can sit down and have some hard conversations with both of them. But my thing is, you don't want to be that person in a position of leadership or power or supervisory, whatever you want to say, and just be like, well, you need to do this and you need to do that. You want to let your people do what they can do, but you also got to be able to step in and say, hey, all right, I saw this, everybody else saw this, and we all have the same questions. So we'll see. But mind you, I think it's safe to say that Evero is going to be here. So they aligned his contract up with Dave Canales as well. All right. So they're both their contracts in at the end of 2027. Right. And I don't know if that was, on their part to try and be like, hey, well, if we get rid of one of you, we're gonna get rid of the other one. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm throwing something on the grill if EJ is a Raider. Man, let me tell you, if Evero gets that job and any of y'all in the Charlotte area, let me tell you, I will go out and get some ribs, throw them on the old Traeger, and let me tell you, we can we can meet at one of the empty parking lots uptown on a Saturday and have an Evero was gone tailgate. I promise you. I'll bring the ribs. I'll see if I can get the missus to make me some potato salad, get some coleslaw, and we'll have a little tailgate. Come on, Mark Bad Haircut Davis and hire. Yo, Mark Davis look like my man from Naruto. Oh God, was it? Was it Rock Lee? Yeah, I might have my animes mixed up. I think that's the dude name. He got the black hair, not orange. He got the black hair. He wears the green outfit. Got the big eye. That is crazy. Oh, Cali Blue. Nope. I don't think Tom Brady is going to be good with someone like Evero, especially when you have Mike Tomlin and McDermott out there. Now, okay. Now here's my thoughts on Mike Tomlin. Okay. Um, I think the Steelers are probably were ready to get rid of Tomlin for a little while now, but you gotta respect the man who hasn't had a losing season in what is it, 19 years? Okay, has a Super Bowl. This is how I think it went down. The Steelers went to him and like, Mike, we want to move on, but we don't want to fire you. Okay, so here's the option. You go out there, you tell everybody you stepping down. You got some other interests. You want to take a rock climbing. You want to learn how to play chess. You want to go play pickleball, whatever you want to do. Okay. And then you step down and then we're going to move on from there. Now, I wonder if it's one of those deals where, he has to be gone for like a year. You get what I'm saying? And maybe it's a situation where it's like, okay, cool, but you can't go nobody else in the AFC North as well. I don't know. That's just me speculating right there. But I don't know. I don't think you're gonna see Mike Tomlin back in this round of coaching hires. Okay. And if he does come back, it will probably be next year with somebody. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, and McDermott, yeah. Like I said, I don't think we're gonna get McDermott back here either. I forgot who said this. I forgot if I heard it on the podcast or in a space on X or whatever. But somebody was saying that, usually you get coaches that get about 2 cycles, you know, and they'll get hired somewhere, they'll get fired. Okay, then they get another job somewhere. Then if that second job doesn't work out, then they may or may not get another coaching job, in the league again. So so we'll see. Just like Robert Saleh, he's the new head coach of Tennessee. Gave him a 5-year deal. Now he went up to the Jets. That all fell through. He went back to San Francisco, defensive coordinator. Now he's got another head coaching job. So we'll see how that goes. All right. Evero is like Chinese food, sometimes good, sometimes bad. Oh God. So Ian Thomas is the most he made the 3 coaches and got an extension for he did. He absolutely did. Yes, facts. We missed Josie Jewell. We absolutely did miss Josie Jewell this season. Absolutely did. You are right about that. Absolutely. He lost the playoff game single-handedly. He doesn't deserve a head coaching job straight up. Ooh, let me tell you, my fandom is like, yes, Cali Blue. Talk, hey, talk your shit. The players improved. Evero play calling did not improve. You know what? I can agree with that because I know a lot of people like Evero had no talent on defense. He had more talent on his defense than he did last season. You know, pair that with Derek Brown coming back, you get a good box run stop and safety in Trayvon Merrick. Okay. Um, you the defensive line, you know, the pressure that they just weren't getting, you know what I mean? You still need that a premier edge rusher, you know, but we thought we were going to be able to get that out of well, not premier, but we thought we was going to be able to get a little something more out of Nick Scorton and Princely. But if you go back and look at a lot of those plays too, the defensive line were always like a half a second too late. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of that has to do with the coverage that they seen too. There was a lot of miscommunications in the secondary. There's a lot of open the middle of the field was open in a lot of situations because of Evero and his zone. It's always a lot of you always get a receiver that go out, they try to find the hole in the zone, sit down, make themselves available for the quarterback, catch a pass. You know, a lot of times Evero's zone was complete Swiss cheese, you know, or it just wasn't even there in a lot of situations. You know, but we'll see. But yeah. Let me see. So man, I have no words for Evero. Said who was watching Evero play call and thinking, I want this guy. Man, let me tell you, boy, I said the same thing. I said, like I said before, you look at that last drive in the playoff game. Who in their right mind is like, you know what? That's the play calling of a future head coach right there. That is because my thing is, if he's so respected around the NFL, you know what I mean, and they buy into his system, they love his system, they have all the faith in him in the world. If he's supposed to be so damn good, why in God's name did that defense look like that last drive? Why? Somebody explain that to me. Why? I agree with that. I agree. I would be surprised if you would get a recording of somebody sitting there being like, you know what? I like that parking lot defense. I want some of that. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If we were any other team, he would have been fired, exit stage, left. Bruh, he would have been fired last year. He'd have been fired last year. But I think the thing also is, I do think that Dan Morgan and Dave Canales really do feel like they haven't given Evero the talent that he needs. Okay, the caliber of talent that he needs. All right, so you know everybody always brings, oh, we spent $150 million on the on the offensive line. And it's funny to me because every time I hear that, it's almost like they're saying that we went out and we cut a check for $150 million last season, and then we weren't able to go out and sign anybody else. So I don't know, but you know we made a splash for Milton Williams last offseason. That didn't work out. You know the Patriots, you know, opened the checkbook up and said, "Come on up here." You know what I mean? But I do think it's a situation where they're like, okay, we do believe in this defense. We believe in Evero. We've got to get him a different caliber player, you know, in here. All right. But at the same time, you know, you bring back a Nick Scott, okay, who I sat here and I gave him praise during the season. But man, let me tell you, when I say the old Nick Scott resurfaced a few times in that wild card game, I was just like, you know what? I just this is what I get. But you know, and then that's the thing too. I'm just like, well, damn, if Evero come back, I mean Nick Scott come back. You know what I mean? And sometimes I think he has too many of quote unquote his people, you know, in this system. But that's another topic for another day. The league know how good Evero is. That's why they've been trying to snatch him since last year. Man, let me tell you, they using the wrong bait, dog. I wish they put something else on that line. And drag his ass right up out of Carolina. For him to be a linebacker, he sure have been ignoring the position, but I can applaud him for targeting our holes. I got you. I got you. Former linebacker, I got you. If Dave doesn't meet expectations next year, would you go after Tomlin? Hmm. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind. I hope Dave does because I really do like Dave. Okay. I really do like Dave Canales. And sometimes I think he's a little bit too, you know, PC. I really wish he would just cuss a motherfucker out one good time, and just be like, you know what? You want the smoke? I'm gonna give you all of it today. That's just like the play against the Buccaneers on the flea flicker. Okay, I'm sorry that I don't think that was a damn flea flicker because you usually do flea flickers on the negative side of the 50. When you're on your side of the 50, and you've got most of the field to try and take a deep shot. All right. We had one receiver go out. Ted McMillan went out for a 5-yard comeback. Jalen Coker and Tommy Trimble were blocking on the right side. All right. Somebody, Bryce, Rico, one of them two, either Bryce didn't communicate the play right to Rico, or Rico heard the wrong play, or something. You know what I mean? Or Rico was just slipping or whatnot. But let me tell you, Bryce did not look like he was expecting Rico to throw that ball back to him. But Dave went up there. They asked him about flea flickers and all that good stuff. And Dave sat right there and took all the blame for it. Said he would do it again in that situation and blah, blah. And I was like, damn. I said, I got to give him credit for that. Because he literally was just like, yeah, you know what? It's on me. I'll take the blame. But that's what it is. But one thing I would say is that we do get Tomlin. We get that defense right, and hopefully he brings somebody in, offensive coordinator, that can get the best out of whoever's here. Because my thing is, especially on Bryce, okay, and I would say this: if it was me, I know tomorrow's price is not going to be today's price, but me personally, I'm not. I'm not paying Bryce unless he goes out there and has another improved season this year. And I think the overwhelming thought is that they're gonna pick up his 5th-year option. Cool. Okay. Now, mind you, if you do go ahead and sign him to a deal, that probably would alleviate some cap room in 2027 because he's getting about $12 million this year. And I think his 5th-year option is for like 26. Okay. And that'd be fully guaranteed. So that'd be a $26 million cap hit for 2027. So if you go ahead and get him an extension done now, that's a little bit of cap relief for not this upcoming season, but the next one. But me personally, yeah. I'm rooting for Bryce, but I got to see another improved season, from him. I got to see him go out there and work on some of these things that still in my mind, I'm looking at him like he's still doing the same crap. You know what I mean? So, but we'll see. We need a new OC, McDaniel from Miami. Let me tell you, man, I would love to see McDaniel from Miami, but I say Dave is a nice guy, but I also think he's a stubborn guy as well. Dave is like, no, these are my plays. This is my playbook. I'm the offensive coordinator. Well, no, I'm the head coach with the offensive coordinator, but I'm calling the plays. I'm running this shit, boss. I'm the captain. That's what I get from Dave sometimes. But we'll see. Said, man, I pray Evero gets up out of Carolina. Dave and Evero are two Cali boys. That's why they want to, man, bump all that. Rock Lee, thank you, Nakar. Mark Davis got a wet shower cream on his head. Said the haircut. He got a wet Oh God. Hey, I'm telling you, man. They said they told Tom to go do what you want to do. And yeah, we'll see you in a year. What do you think about so many head coaches getting fired? That's the league. The league is kind of, show and prove right now. You know what I mean? And then look at Liam Cohen. going down to Jacksonville, first year, division winner, playoff. You know what I mean? So you got a lot of these owners seeing the success of other people and wanting that instant success. You get what I'm saying? But the one thing I will say is we have one of those owners that was like that when he first got here. The one thing I will say about Tepper, he's kind of taken a step back, and kind of got himself out of being in the spotlight and things that we saw out of him when he first took over the team. He let Dan and Dave come in, and they have said from the beginning, since Dan was promoted general manager, this is going to be a process. Dan was like, this is going to be a 3 or 4 year process. Okay. We're in year 2 of it. All right. And I think that we are ahead of a lot of everybody's expectations as to what we have been able to accomplish. You know what I mean? But it's just the league. Everybody is not the Pittsburgh Steelers. Everybody has not had 3 coaches since 1970. Mike Tomlin, Bill Cowher, and I can't think of the other guys. I can see his face, but I can't. Was it not Chuck Noll? Was it Chuck Noll? I can't see his face, but yeah, everybody's not the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yeah. McDermott is gone too. Sheesh. Yep. Said just trying to shake honey from Honey Tree. What's up? Black Ballin' Music Group. What's going on with you? Solid got Mike Daniels as OC. Damn, really? Oh shoot, that's crazy. Did EJ get the job? Well, I don't know yet. I hope he did, but we don't know yet. SC Panthers, what's going on with you, man? How you doing? We need to get back to 4-3. Dan mentioned it. Okay. I'm starting to think EJ has dirt on both Dave. Oh God. Evero looked like Seal. Get your ass out of Carolina. Yo, I've been gone with this whole segment. That's how much I hate him. Oh God, he couldn't hold on for 2.5 man, bro. Let me tell you. Evero goes to Vegas and make Nick Scott the highest paid safety in NFL history. Oh my God. Let me tell you. Tomlin and McDermott in Carolina. God damn. Well, let me say that would be nice. We need one of these old mothers of the church to put some holy oil on Jonathan Brooks' knees because if the kid stay healthy, he's going to be a problem. A healthy JB reminds me of Gibbs from Detroit. Man, let us pray. Let us pray. Chuck Noll. Okay. Appreciate it. All right. But yeah. And I'm going to tell y'all this earlier. Okay. So if you're watching on just my regular YouTube channel, I'm streaming the 1920 by 1080, the horizontal canvas. I'm also streaming in the YouTube shorts. Okay. So if you see comments and pop up on the screen, you don't see on your stream, I'm getting messages in from both. Okay. And they're coming into my setup I got here, and I'm able to put them on both streams at the same time. Okay. So, but just I want to say real quick, thank you for everybody that's watching, whether you're watching on the horizontal stream or whether you're watching on the vertical stream. I appreciate you. And don't forget, before y'all get up out of here, make sure y'all hit that like and subscribe button. All right. I appreciate the support. Okay, cool. All right, let's go ahead and move on from good old Evero here. All right. Okay, so my last thought on the night. Okay, and I got right here. May the force be with this gentleman right here. Okay. May the force be with him. Okay. My goodness, when I say I almost passed out when I saw he was interviewing with the Atlanta Falcons. I was like, Lord, my Father, thou art in heaven. Please do not let him go to Atlanta. Okay. We have been in cap hell in Carolina for years. And I think he has done an outstanding job with what he's been able to do since he's been here. Okay. Now, if y'all look here, okay, and hold on, let me take that out of dark mode. All right, so now this is the information from Spot Track. Okay, so the Panthers are expected to have $18 million roll over from this year to next year. The salary cap is supposed to go up from 200 and 80 something million, I think it is, to like 317. So we'll get some money there too as well. All right. Now, so this is our draft pool we got right here. Okay. So this is every pick that we got and every and the salary range. Okay. Not the range. The draft has set salaries now. So number 19 gonna have a cap hit 3.6 million and so on and so forth. So we are looking at around let me see, according to this here, about a $5.4 million cap hit for next year. Okay. So you got the 2026 NFL salary cap is set to $304 million. All right. 2025 rollover cap, 18.5. You got an adjustment, minus $5 million. Adjusted salary cap, $317 million for next season. All right. So far, the active roster has a cap hit of $292 million with dead money of 9.3 million. Okay. So cap allocations, 302 million. So cap space, 15 million, $15.5 million. All right. And then down here it says top 51 offseason cap, we have cap space of $17 million. All right. Now I keep hearing and I saw this earlier too, because I said it on the stream. I thought Carolina had more salary cap than this. All right. Now I'm sure that they're already behind the scenes, working and doing their magic, trying to come up with ways that they can save. It could be cutting players, restructuring contracts, things of that nature. Okay. So I'm sure they're going to do some things to free up some more money. But when we get to say like oh, and I'm sorry for everybody who is on the vertical stream because I didn't put the thing up there, but there it is. When you look at Max Crosby, okay, that's why I don't think that Carolina is going to trade for him, because you're going to have to trade that all that capital as far as picks, and then you're going to have to pay the man. Okay. Then you got like a Trey Hendrickson. What kind of contract will he garner? You know what I mean? I think the Panthers are going to have about anywhere from 20 to 25 million dollars of cap space to pay say a Trey Hendrickson or a Max Crosby. Okay. Max Crosby will probably get a longer deal. Trey Hendrickson, being 31, he might get it, a 2-3 year deal maybe. We'll see. But, will Carolina have enough money in free agency to go out there and make that big of a splash? Okay. Especially on the defensive side of the ball. Because we got a lot of contracts hitting. Damian Lewis, Robert Hunt, Derek Brown, JC Horn. Okay. Icky's 5th year. Bryce, he's in the 4th year of his contract. That's 12 million. Okay. So we'll see. That's why I said I'm glad Brant Tillis is still here. Okay. Now I kind of, Matt Ryan was always going to get the job down there in Atlanta. And I didn't realize that he was interviewing until after I heard about Brant Tillis interviewing. I'm like, oh, okay. Maybe they just doing this to say, yeah, we went through and we've hired, great people. We've interviewed great people, and and this is what we come up with. We still gonna go with Matt. So I hope maybe David Tepper, Dan Morgan, if they need to give this man a promotion, give him a raise, put something in front of his name that says, I'm the head of all of this shit, and keep him here. Okay. Keep him here, because I think our cap space is going to do nothing but improve the longer he stays with this team. All right. I think he's great at his job at restructuring, with the language in the contracts, freeing up money. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. Let me see here. Let me see. Hope I'm saying the right Dimensions. I'm probably saying your name wrong. I apologize. There will be 5 or so players with a cap hit of 20 mil. We can restructure. I got you. Atlanta already filled the position they interviewed for. Yeah. Matt Ryan got it. Matt Ryan. So basically, Matt Ryan is the president of football operations. So if I'm not mistaken, the the head coach and the GM report to him, and then he reports to Arthur Blank. You know, so we'll see. Now I don't know if Tepper is going to make that kind of a spot for Brant Tillis. You know, we'll see. But yeah, if Bryce keep balling, Tepper going to give him Frank Lucas money. We'll see, man. We shall see. We definitely shall see. But yeah, man. So, but you know, I thought that our draft not draft, but I thought that our salary cap was in a little bit better position, you know, than it is, you know, according to Spot Track. Okay, now this could all change in the next few weeks, and we'll see what's going on with everything. And like I said, I'm pretty sure there's going to be some restructuring. Taylor Moton is probably a good candidate for a contract restructuring. There probably going to be some people that'll get cut, you know, and save, you know, $3 million here, $5 million here. Let me see. Spot Track is wrong. I got you. Okay. So you saying was is it over the cap is better? Hold on. Let me go here real quick. Let's see what over the cap said. Okay. So over the cap, and this might be a little off. I apologize, y'all. Over the cap has the Panthers at $11 million in cap space right now. So, we'll see. Said we have more cap space than they say. Okay, all right, I got you. Tell you, I hope so. Said no, I just meant NFL insiders and the websites are saying too. I got you. I got you. I got you. Okay. All right, cool beans. But yeah, man, I think we got you know, think we got a good guy right here in Brant Tillis. You know, we'll see what he can do as far as getting us some more cap space because you know you got people like the Patriots, you know, who paid all that money last year. You know, bringing in free agents, Milton Williams. They done a great job in the draft, but these jokers still got 50-60 million dollars in cap space. You know what I mean? It's going to be tough for the Panthers to go out there and compete financially with a lot of these teams that just have basically a blank check to go out here and do what they need to do with. So we'll see. We'll see. All right. So, okay. Let me see. Cali Blue said, well, if Evero gets a head coaching job, we will get a pick from it and let Scott get gone. I feel you on that one. I feel you. Now, I like I said, I do have to say, you cannot just look past the job that Evero did this season as far as where our defense was last year to where we came this year. Okay. And I said this, me and Tony said this at the start of last season. If we could get a middle of the pack defense, we got a middle of the pack defense. Okay. But, you know, and this is probably another topic for another video. But you know, our offense, okay, mind you, we got holes on defense. We got holes on defense, but our offense has to step it up as well. Okay. And like I said, we can't have another year of being marred down in the 20s in damn near every statistical category far as offense. Okay. So we got to improve on that as well. We, you know, it's kind of a fickle with Evero because, like I said, you see the job that he's done as far as the defense as a whole, but it's just like you know who would I think of? It's kind of like XL in a sense. You know what I mean? It's just like he does okay, but it's just like the really blaring, you know, F ups are just like, bruh, you know, they're just too obvious. You know what I mean? And sometimes I feel like that with Evero as well, especially like the playoff game. It's just like, dude, you know, you've done all this all year, and then you get to the playoff game and just sit there and let this team march down the field. But we'll see. We'll see. Earl, what's going on with you, man? How you doing? Dowdle will need to be replaced production wise. Yeah, let me say Rico gone. Okay. Rico is gone. And my thoughts on Rico is this. He had 2 good games. Okay, had 2 great games. All right. Mind you, if I'm Dave Canales, I go to Chuba Hubbard and I'm like, bruh, okay, we got to go with the hot hand. All right. Got to go with the hot hand. I think that Dave and Dan had in their minds from the jump, okay? They wasn't Chuba, and I'm Chuba, but Rico was not going to be the feature back next year. Okay, you already got Chuba, you've already committed to him. And as you see, they make an agreement, they make a commitment, they're gonna stick with it. Look at Evero. Okay. So there wasn't any way that Chuba was gonna be totally replaced. Okay. But what I think Dave should have done, he should have stuck with the hot hand. When we got to the Jets game, and then he did all the you get a series, 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 you get a series. Okay. He kind of went away from that a little bit in the Green Bay game. Rico had, what was it, 130 something yards in that game. We won that game. Okay. And then he just went back to the alternating back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Okay. And then also I think as well, our offensive line, I know Rico made a post where he was like, the offensive line didn't just fall off a cliff, trust me. Now, I don't know if he really meant that or he was being sarcastic, but the offensive line for me, as far as the run game, literally fell off a cliff. Like literally. They fell off a cliff and they probably still there now. All right. And for me, it all started with that Saints game. Because I was there at the bank, and in the middle of the first quarter, I looked at my wife and I was like, yo, they are determined. They're not going to let us run on them. And they were doing it with their 4th down lineman and maybe a 5th rusher at times. And I think the rest of the league saw that, the rest of the teams we played. And that was pretty much the case for the rest of the season. Okay. There weren't a whole lot of holes being opened up for Rico. Okay. And then at the same time, him and Chuba were not breaking a lot of tackles either. But I ain't gonna say all of that was their fault. But my thing is, when you're getting hit, you getting the ball and you're making it a yard, half yard, maybe 2 yards, and somebody's always there to make a tackle, that's going to affect that as well. But I think Dave should have stuck with the hot hand. I think he should have went ahead and let Chuba do his thing for this season. Okay. And if they wanted to bring him back, cool. But I don't think that was ever in the plans. They just signed Chuba. He got his money, and I think they were going to be committed to him. But I do think they messed up trying to do this whole back and forth. You get a carry, or you get a series, you get a series, you get a series, you get a series. Let me tell you what. I'm out there and I'm making that much damn money, and the goal is to go get that Lombardi trophy, bro. You know what? You the hot hand right now. You go ahead and take it. I get in where I fit in. You know what I mean? Team game. Everybody has to do their part. And sometimes doing your part is sitting back and knowing, you know what? Let me give way to this guy right here, or let me give way to this idea. And I think that's something that the Panthers have to learn. Hopefully they take that from this season as well. It's like sometimes it's like, cool, it's okay to do this. It's okay to do that. It's okay to admit this was wrong. It's okay to admit this didn't work. It's okay to, oh, this worked. Let's go ahead and do it again, and not be afraid to do it again. Like it seemed like the deal for us most of the season. Okay. But, we'll see. But yeah, Rico out. He gone. He gone. He done took the Panthers off his social media, everything. He out because he wants to go to a team where he's going to get the bulk of the running back one carries. It's not going to happen in Carolina. It's not. It's not. Offense disappointed this season. Agreed. I like the play calling in the playoff game, other than going forward on our 30-yard line. For what it's worth, though, I agree. Dave Brooks coming to save the day. Thomas Davis told him how to not break his. Man, I hope so. I hope so. Boy, I hope so. I blame Canales. He has to stop waiting till week 10 to let Bryce Young push the ball down the field. Bryce was the number 1 deep ball thrower in the league this year. Use the pass, open up the run. Let me tell you, I said that before the Falcons game. Okay. And I was like, you know what? Our run game is not really getting it. It's not really doing it. Dave go out there. Sometimes they always say you run to set up the pass. Sometimes you got to pass to set up the run. You know what I mean? But yeah, I feel you, QJ. 3. Let me see. Ben flipping facts. What's going on? They should have got a 4th or 5th round pick for Rico when he was hot. You know? But my thing is though, shoot, well, I guess you can look at that 2 ways. If we somehow would have known the season would have still ended up, like this, bet. You know what I mean? Okay, go ahead and get rid of him for 4th or 5th round pick or whatever. But yeah, yeah, I don't know. I wonder if it would have been different, had they let Rico just go ahead and continue being the feature back while he was hot. You know what I mean? But we'll see. I was at the Saints game too. Yeah, let me tell you, they were like, nah, bruh. Nope, nope, no, no. And my thing is just like, you see the defense's scheme. You see what they're thinking. We're gonna stop your run game, and Bryce is going to have to beat us with his arm. And then Dave goes out there and calls one of his most conservative games of the season. And this is the thing that gets me, and everybody's like, oh, well, we did that versus like Dallas and Miami. Their run defense was trash. Well, hell, the Saints run defense was trash too. Both games according to the stats, but hey. Let me see. We got to start thinking long term. Facts. Facts. That was a bad running back entanglement. Canales is it blamed for that, in my opinion, as well. I agree. Said Ben, you trade Rico and we don't make the playoffs, and we're having a totally different podcast right now. Yeah, true, true. Same thing with Bryce, Andy. We need a wide receiver, either one or two. Okay. Now, mind you, I think okay, y'all hear me out on the whole wide receiver thing. Um, me personally, me personally, I wonder if Hunter Renfro, if it was something else going on up with him, okay? Because I would have liked to have seen Hunter Renfro play this whole season, okay? We lost Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen was not the fastest wide receiver in the world, but he had a knack for being in the right place, right time. He knew his routes. He was able to get separation and get open. I saw the same thing in Hunter Renfro, okay? You seen it in the first game of the season. Bryce missed him twice. He's a good route runner. He gets open. He get in space. He'll catch the ball. And I'm wondering what went wrong with Hunter Renfro, if he was just medically not there for the rest of the season, because he was a healthy scratch for like 9 straight games, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. But I do think I don't know if Jimmy Horn can be that type of guy. You know what I mean? In year 2. But we do need that. Let me see, that slot route wide receiver. You know what I mean? Great route runner, route technician, can get open, get separation, and got good hands. You know what I mean? So, but we'll see. We'll see. Keep pounding, Jay. Said Rico ain't do much after the hot run he had. True. This is true. But like I said, I'm also factoring in the play of our offensive line. Okay. And think about it too. The when Rico had, what was it, the Miami game, and you saw Rico when he was like, hey, he went to Brad Isaac and was like, hey, I think we should run this play. It's going to be there. It's going to be there. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know if the run game, they got less creative with it, or they went away from necessarily what works, but it wasn't the same. Okay. It definitely wasn't the same. Like it was in the Dallas game, Miami game, all up until the Green Bay game. But from my perspective, you got to put some of that on the offensive line. They weren't opening holes up like they were earlier on in the season. And you can attest that to the injuries that we had as well. Cade Mays got hurt a couple games. Austin Corbett got it. He played center, he played guard. Then Robert Hunt was gone for shit damn near the whole season, and just came back for the playoff game. So we'll see. Let me see. Yeah, but then ETN is your second back and he's mistake prone. Man, let me tell you. Oh my God. I was so mad when he fumbled that damn punt. Oh my Jesus. I'm just like, bruh, put somebody else back there. And I know he's a rookie, but let me tell you, ETN doing one of two things. He would have a long run and get called back by a penalty every time as far as kickoff or punt return. Every decent run he had got called back by a penalty. And then at the most inopportune times, he would drop he would drop the catch. He would drop the punt or trying to field the punt or whatever. It's just the absolute wrong time. And when I say that playoff game was the absolute wrong time. Now, mind you, I think we were able to survive it. I can't remember. I think we got the ball back from them. We didn't give up any points on that next possession. But still, though, it's just like, bro, like, come on. Let me see here. Chuba wasn't fully healthy yet. I got you. I got you. You can't think long term and sacrifice short term. Sacrifice the short term eliminates the long term in this case. Okay. Let me see. Pause. We were supposed to get QB we need to get our wide receiver off our minds, QB or bust, because a solid QB will raise our current wide receiver roster. I mean, I agree. And that's why I said, me personally, I got some more next year out of Bryce Young. Okay. I gotta see some more. Ah, oh, okay. All right. I'm rooting for Bryce Young. Do I think he's solid? Not quite yet because he's not consistent. Okay. And mind you, I don't think that you know, all his consistency issues, are necessarily his fault. You got consistency issues with the play calling and everything as well. And if y'all are see, I'm having some issues with my stream here, so y'all just bear with me, okay? But like I said, he I think he has to be, for me, he has to be a little bit more consistent to me to put him in that, just solid range. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's just my take. I think I think he's on his way, but he definitely has to be more consistent. Let me see. Special teams need to be brought more because it's killing us for years, as far as I can remember. Yeah, especially in that Patriots game this season too. Rico only ran on those two bad run defensive teams. Huh? Nick Scott knocked the Shirley Temple out of Devontae Adams. He did. Let me see. Short term was so short term. Here, you can't you act like the Canadian can't ball. He was the best thing we had the previous season. Bryce got a spell on you fellows. uh, so he's not consistent because of Dave's play calling. When we let him throw, the motherfucker throws the motherfucker. I mean, and that's why I say I think it's a lot involved in it, but they got to get it all together. Said, well, we always got Jonathan Brooks as running back next year. Let's see what he does. This is true. This is true. Ben, he was not healthy yet. You want us to have a not healthy running back one and a rookie running back two. Okay. Said, trust me, a dominant QB will raise the bar. Yeah. It will not surprise me at all to see Bryce balling out on another team. He has at least shown enough for us to say he is extremely talented. Okay. I got you. I got you. All right. Well, cool beans. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and get off of here, and I appreciate everybody sticking with me. I've set for a few little hiccups here with my stream. I think this little experiment of mine was a success. Well, at least I like to think it is. And I appreciate everybody for sticking with me. I know I got a little bit of a late start. I had to go back and change a couple settings to get one of these streams to work. All right. So I appreciate everybody sticking with me. Um, I thank everybody for being here. Like I said, I'm still on my way to my goal of 2,000 subscribers. So if you're on the stream and you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button for me. I appreciate all the love and support. On whatever platform you're watching, make sure you like and follow as well. All right. And hold on. Let me get a couple more comments here. Canales need to hire McDaniels or Kingsbury as the OC and let them cook. Facts. I agree. I agree. So you also act like dominant QBs grow on trees. Oh, so y'all just going back and forth. Everyone be careful. Snowstorm hitting it. Man, boy, let me say it's supposed to go down. Man, let me tell you. And guess who black ass is on call this week? Mine. Oh, Lord have mercy. Let me tell you, Lord, please I hope nothing happen in none of these buildings where I work at. Because I am on call this week. Oh my goodness. Let me see. Cali Blue said, good job, CJ. I just subscribed. Hey, appreciate you, big dog. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I swear I do. All right. Cool beans. All right, y'all. Before I get out of here, like I said, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe. You can catch me on all social media right here at Armchair GMCJ. Again, I appreciate our love and support. All right, and as always, I'm gonna leave y'all with three things. Number one, y'all be good. Number two, y'all be safe. And number three, as always, Panther Nation, keep pounding, man. I'll see you.